guys, this is Sailing Nets with Trim, and this is our second video in our series The Voyage so far. If you haven't seen the video number 1, check out the link in the description box. In this episode, we're gonna present some of our favorite clips from West Africa, as well as Atlantic Ocean.
After a few weeks pit stop in Gibraltar, fixing a few things that immediately needed attention on Trim, I set off into the Atlantic by myself on my way to the Canary Islands, where our new crew would be joining and we would be a crew of 4. But for the time being I was by myself, and I stopped in along the coast of Morocco on the way down. After a couple of nights sailing from Morocco, I got to Lanzarote, where the first of the Trim's new crew was joining the boat, Jorge. We ventured our way down to Gran Canaria, where another one of our Spanish crew, Annette, hopped on, and also where I met Agata. Yay. She joined the boat for a weekend, and we had an awesome weekend of sailing and diving, and basically organised for her to come again in Cape Verde. After saying goodbye to Agata, unfortunately, we set off for Tenerife, where my good buddy Phil joined the boat, and we spent a month in the Canary Islands in La Palma, preparing the boat for Gambia. We had quite a rough sail to Gambia. Trim's leaks really came to light, and we had a very wet boat in quite rough weather, but we made it successfully, and we spent a wonderful month in Gambia, cruising up this African river, exploring really wild places, seeing amazing wildlife. A massive crocodile that we almost ran into in the dinghy. Phil shit himself and swore that he was never going up the river in the dinghy again. Gambia was where Jorge and Annette decided to leave the boat, and the Australian team continued on to Cape Verde by themselves before Agata finally joined the voyage. After
about 3 weeks of cruising Cape Verde Islands.
Which wasn't really cruising because it was windy as... It was really windy.
It was very windy, and also it was my first time sailing, so I was puking a lot. Yeah, but it was fun anyway.
After 3 weeks cruising with Agata and Phil in Cape Verde, we set off on the Atlantic crossing bound for Guadeloupe. And we started off in about 30 knots of wind. It was quite rough. Overall it was very good, but for sure the roughest days were at the beginning. We actually had a wave come into the cockpit while Phil was up there, and I was a little bit worried, so from that point we all started wearing harnesses, and yeah, but it mellowed out and we ended up having an awesome Atlantic crossing. It was Agata's very first overnight sail, so she was thrown into the deep end hard.
Yeah, I did. It was pretty gnarly at the beginning.
It took us 14 days altogether before we got to Guadeloupe. So we've been motoring for the last 8 hours. Had a good sail last night though. You turn around, there it is. Famous rock. That's Morocco behind me. We're being spat out into the Atlantic Ocean at 10 knots. What a way to go into the Atlantic. Woohoo! Morocco there, Spain over there, and the Atlantic straight in front. Coming into Rabat, just 24 hours out of Gibraltar. Bit of a castle there. How's life aboard Trim treating you, Ahoy?
Hard, suffering a lot. How's life on board Trim?
Pretty easy.
How's life in Gran Canaria?
Pretty easy. Making some on-the-run modifications. so we can fit all our provisions. The Honourable Phil Schulte, fisherman and chef. Fresh tuna, caught about 3 hours ago.
We need fish for dinner as well, right?
Agreed. We've got pretty good visuals though. It's the sunset over Gamera. Okay, now say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas!
Setting off for the Atlantic crossing. 2,100 miles to go. Non-stop to Guadalupe, Caribbean. Trim's already on 8 knots. Gonna be a nice passage.
Trim beans! Woo! Trim's kitchen. Up top we got a little ham cheese, parsley action. Depends what language you're speaking. Down the bottom we got ham, cheese, tomato, onion, bacon. It's French for bacon.
How many days are we in?
Fuck knows. 8?
No, we're at least 9.
Yeah. 9 days. 9 days in.
End of the 9th day, I think.
And we're heading to the G-Loop. Guadalupe. As you can see, we're running a wing and wing. Right wing we got old Noah up there, and left wing we're running Main Sally. And
How many miles have we done?
1,200?
1,400 I think last time I checked.
Yeah, there you go. And it's been good. No bad things have happened, a lot of good things. Been eating well, I'll tell you that much. Boredom and food go hand in hand. And, have a good time. Yeah, enjoying it. It's good shit.
How's your experience on the good ship trim been for the last 10 days while you've been crossing the Atlantic Ocean?
Freaking awesome. Time of my life.
What about the first 2 days?
No comments.
Set to make landfall in 3 days. Guadalupe with just under a 2-week passage. 13 days into our transatlantic passage, and we're dressed up. This is our last day. We're going to arrive in the morning. Everybody's got their finest on and we're cooking our celebratory breakfast. Last of our bacon, eggs, hash browns. Left Cape Verde 13 days and 18 hours ago, just arriving in Guadalupe. Just making landfall in the Caribbean. Feels a bit hedgy for a swim.